Hi, everybody. Welcome to Phil and Dave's Excellent Adventures. Just Dave here. Today I'm talking about the movie The Iron Claw. This is going to be a spoiler review, so if you are concerned about spoilers, I would suggest you go and watch the movie first before you watch this review. The Iron Claw is based on the true story of the Von Erich brothers, six brothers, all of whom died at a young age, except for Kevin. So this is all about their exploits. Their father was also a wrestler, and it just kind of details their life for a good 10 or 15 years, I think. Maybe not even that long. But either way, as far as what I liked about the movie, overall, I thought the cast was great. I liked Zac Efron as Kevin. I think Jeremy Allen White is always good, and he's probably the main reason a lot of people went to see this. The main reason I wanted to see it, honestly. As Carrie, he's awesome. I really liked Harris Dickinson as David. Maura Tierney is great in this. I haven't seen her in anything in a while, so it was really good to see her, and she does a great job. She's awesome, and she looks great too. Stanley Simons, I liked him as Mike. Mike was probably my favorite character, or the one that I identified the most with in the movie. Holt McCallany is always great. He's great on Mindhunter. It's what I know him from initially, but he's also the Native American dude in Creepshow or Creepshow 2, one of the Creepshow movies, and he is not Native American, so that's pretty funny. When I was watching, I'm like, hey, that's the guy from Mindhunter. What the hell? Crazy. Lily James in this is just amazing as his wife Pam. She's always good, but she's perfect, perfectly cast, perfect character to be that sort of sweet, down home kind of Texas girl, like always great. And she's British, so it's so funny, but great job there. Reminded me of her character in Baby Driver a little bit. And Aaron Dean Eisenberg as Ric Flair. I liked it. I guess some people were, divided about it, but I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I'm not a huge Ric Flair fan, so I can't say specifically, but I actually thought he was Anthony Starr from The Boys for a second. I'm like, is that Anthony Starr? All right, yeah, good for you. But no, I don't know who Aaron Dean Eisenberg is, but pretty good job, I thought. Score in this was good. Richard Reed Perry did the score. He's the guy from Arcade Fire. So like, all right, cool. I like Arcade Fire, and I like the score in this as well. The soundtrack in this, the actual songs is great. It's all 80s music. So you've got like Rush, Tom Sawyer's in there, Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper, Tom Petty. I think it's Don't Come Around Here No More, right? Didn't write the song. I think that's what it was. But either way, great 80s songs. And yeah, when there's that needle drop when they play that Rush, it's so good. So good. Blue Oyster Cult's always good. I mean, everyone thinks of that song with the Stand TV show that they did, but still a great song. The accents in this, I was really impressed by. Again, considering Harris Dickinson is British, Lily James is British. I'm pretty sure Jeremy Allen White and Zac Efron are not from Texas. I think they're just from California. Overall, I mean, I'm not an expert in Texas accents. I've literally only been to Texas a couple times to go to the airport. But to me, believable enough that I was like, okay, they sound Southern-ish. I don't know if it's the right specific, dialect for that area or whatever, but believable. A lot better than like that girl did in the Hunger Games movie. I thought the choreography in this, the wrestling scenes and the fighting was really good and really impressive. In particular, I thought Jeremy Allen White did a really good job with it, and Zac Efron. Harris Dickinson, not quite as much, but still better than I could do, I'm sure. And it's hard. It's hard being tall. Moving all this around it's a lot of work. So, but yeah, I thought it looked pretty good. They seemed like they knew what they were doing. The story overall, it's a great, interesting, compelling story about it's a tragic, terrible story about this family that has to deal with all sorts of tragedy, but yeah, good story. The costumes in this are great, totally era appropriate. They look right to me. The hair, very good as well. Zac Efron's hair looks goofy as hell. I don't. He looks like He-Man or something kind of. It's so stupid, but that's the way hair was in the early '80s. And Jeremy Allen White's hair looks really good in this. I don't know if it's just his real hair or I'm really bad at spotting wigs actually, so it's probably just me. But yeah, I'm like, oh, looks good. All right, I believe it. Set design in this, very good. In the movie set in the early 80s mostly. So yeah, you got to get that. And like the house and everything, like their house looks a lot like my house did when I was growing up. So like I appreciated that. The TV graphics, like when they do the wrestling promos and all that stuff, is just perfect. It's exactly what I remember that stuff looking like when my dad used to watch that kind of stuff when I was a kid. And I did appreciate that there is a happy ending here. You get finally Kevin and his wife got to buy that farm and move all their family down there. They get together. You see the picture of the family all, and it's a good looking family, no uggos or chubbos or anything. No, yeah, it's a nice, beautiful family. They seem very happy, so like good for them. As far as what I disliked about the movie, Zac Efron just looks weird. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be so superficial, but like the whole time, every time he's on screen, his performance is good. But the whole time he's on screen, I'm just looking at him going like, why do you look like that? Did you look like Lord Farquaad? Like, is that a prosthetic? Did they do that on purpose? Is that from steroid use? Because the dude looks like he's been using steroids. I don't understand. It just looks so weird. I read it up about it. Apparently, he broke his jaw, and when it fused back together, that's what it looked like. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess that can happen. I don't know if I believe that, but that could happen. But he broke his jaw like 10 years ago. And then he said it just started happening a few years ago because he stopped doing the exercises he was supposed to do. I'm like, not buying it, dude. Sorry, you're either on the junk or it's got to be steroids, right? It's got to be. I don't know. Not that I'm an expert or anything, but yeah. And they're all too short. Especially Zac Efron is like 5'8", I think. And in real life, Kevin's supposed to be 6'2", which sounds like a whatever. Who cares? And I'm a big tall guy, so I'm very biased when it comes to height. But no, it's a little goofy when they show him on stage and it says like Kevin Von Erich 6'2", and it's like that dude is not 6'2". That dude is the same height as Lily James. What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense at all. And Jeremy Allen White is like 5'7". So, and I'm not sure how tall that guy was supposed to be, but not very tall at all. Harris Dickinson's a bit taller. He's 6'2", but I think David was supposed to be 6'7". So, I mean, it's hard to find tall actors. It's hard to find tall people that are good at wrestling and all that kind of stuff as well. So I understand, of course, you can't quite get there. But yeah, to me, just Efron and Jeremy Allen White are below average height. The kind of guy, if you saw him, you'd be like, oh, that guy's not very tall. So it's a little odd to me to cast them as, these big wrestler guys when they're not very big guys in real life. I also had a bit of an issue with the movie of just like how much of it is real. There was just a couple things that happened that just seemed unbelievable to me. And some of them were, and so that kind of irritated me. But like, I don't know, there's one part where he's like so upset about his brother, one of his many brothers' deaths, that he's like sleeping in the gym and stuff and just working out. And I'm like, okay, did that really happen though? Is that really what he was doing, or is that what he told his wife he was doing? Because I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just cynical, but I'm like, I feel like that dude was out doing drugs and like getting laid and stuff, like not hanging out in the gym. But maybe it was. I don't know. Stuff like Kevin arriving just as Carrie shot himself. Like when that happened too, I'm like, what? That's crazy. Is that really what happened? Like literally as he got to the door, dude shot himself. Like that's insane. That's too unbelievable for me. And I'm like, if that is how he says it happened, I don't believe this guy. I think he killed his brother, which is a terrible thing to say. But I'm just like, no. And well, yeah, that didn't. It kind of happened. I'll talk about that more a little bit later. I don't like the religious stuff. I'm not a religious person. I understand most people are, or a lot of people are. Good for you, I guess, but like I don't shove your shit down my throat, man. I don't fucking care. Like I understand it's whatever, but like I don't know, the shit with them in heaven at the end, like it's cute and all, but like it's not how it works. I'm sorry, guys. When you die, nothing. That's it. Still be nice to people though. Don't like murder people or anything, but like yeah, there's no God. None of that shit exists. Like stop, and stop pushing your shit on me. There's also some odd shot choices, or just a couple scenes that were just a little odd for me. Like in particular, when Carrie comes back home and like all the boys are sitting on the porch and they seem like, oh hey, it just something about the way it was shot and their reaction just seemed a little fake to me. And there's also a scene where I forget exactly what happened, but something happens. It might be the coin flip scene or something, but they focus in on Zac Efron's character, I think. And then the other brothers kind of come rushing in to like hug him or like congratulate him or whatever. But like the timing is just off because they wanted to focus on him. And so I'm like, so what are his brothers doing while they're just standing there? Like it just one or two scenes like that just threw me a little bit off. Where I'm like, this I don't know. I'm aware I'm watching a movie right now, or like this is my suspension of disbelief has been broken or whatever. And also the movie is just very, very, very sad. It's one of the saddest movies I've ever seen. It's like four people dying, and I think it's just like constant death. People always dying all the time. Like, geez. So, it does have kind of a happy ending though, so that's good. And also, I thought it was funny. There was at least a few like young women in the audience by themselves, which not something I see very often. I assume again they were there for Zac Efron or Jeremy Allen White because women love that guy. I think he's kind of weird looking, but he's a good actor. And he's not related to Gene Wilder, even though the internet keeps saying that. So yeah, other than that, movie is directed by Sean Durkin. He's done some stuff, but the only thing I've heard of is Marcy May Marlene, which is the hardest title I can think of to say. But yeah, I've heard of that. I haven't seen it. I think the Olsen girl's in it, right? If it's one I'm thinking of. But yeah, okay. And he also wrote this movie. Not familiar with anything else he's done, but interesting, definitely worth checking out. Budget on this one, $15.9 million. Box office, $18.2 million. So, it's not exactly going to lose a bunch of money. It's not exactly going to make a bunch of money. This again isn't the kind of movie that you make expecting it to be a big box office sensation or anything. This is more of a, Oscar kind of movie. So I'm sure they're more than happy with that. Rotten Tomatoes on this one, critics are at 89% and the audience is at 93%. So yeah, the audience like this one even more, but wrestling fans like wrestling. So I think if there's something comes out with wrestling in it, they're going to love it. I will say myself, I'm not a big wrestling fan, but my dad watched it when I was a kid. So I knew a little bit of it and I had a roommate who was into it. So I know a fair amount about it, but I've never voluntarily watched wrestling. So yeah, apparently Kevin Von Erich, the only one who's still alive, was not really involved with the making of this movie too much, but he gave him his blessing. According to him, it was more drugs and physical issues that caused his brothers to commit suicide, and not so much the pressure from their dad. So okay, and I can kind of see why you make that choice, but it is kind of weird making a movie where they make your dad out to be the villain. That being said, his dad seems like the villain, especially if he was like stealing money from them and everything, and like how hard he pushed him did seem a bit much. And that's kind of one of the saddest things about the movie is like there's this guy who's just trying to like relive his dreams through his children, which is something a lot of parents do. And it's just it's really sad. But then again, maybe that's not true. I'm not sure. But there is some stuff too, like with Mike. The movie makes it seem like Mike just wants to play guitar and like be in a band and like have fun and doesn't care about wrestling at all. And then they kind of like forced him into wrestling, and then he gets injured in his very first fight. Yeah, no, none of that's real. They made that up. They lied about that. Why? I mean, and it's again one of the same watching like this is crazy. This guy really his first fight he got injured and almost died. That's insane. No, no, he started wrestling in 1983 before any of that happened. So like. Okay. Yeah. And same thing with like Kerry. He loses his leg in the movie. They make it seem like he lost his leg like the night that he won the fight with Ric Flair. No, it was like 2 years later. So again, like why are you making shit up? You don't need to. It's already an interesting and sensational enough story as is. Why make up extra stuff to try to make it more sensational? I don't get that. It's something that always bothers me about biopics or anything based in reality, any kind of historical movie. Anytime they start like playing fast and loose with the truth to tell a better story, I'm like, stop it. No, don't do that. Just tell me what fucking happened. Quit making shit up. It's annoying. Or just make up a fucking movie. Make up a totally different movie and base it on these guys. But don't sit there and say like, oh, this is what happened when that's not what happened. It's annoying. And just like not fair, I guess. They did leave out Chris Von Erich. There was another Von Erich brother. He was the youngest one. He also died by suicide, gunshot, when he was 21 years old. But apparently, that's actually the brother that Kevin found right after he killed himself, and not Kerry. So they kind of just combined those two, which okay, I can kind of see that, and I can kind of understand why they were like, all right, dude, we've already got 4 brothers dying. We don't need to have 5 brothers dying. That's too much. So I can kind of understand why they or 3 dying instead of either way. I can kind of see why they did it that way, and that doesn't bother me as much when they kind of combine stuff, but still, it's a little misleading. And yeah, so I guess it's about it. And then yeah, his Kerry was actually found by his dad. So that whole thing with him choking his dad and all that didn't happen either because his dad's the one who found him. So yeah. I think in this movie, it's a good movie. It's well made, good performances, well written. But the thing that bothers me the most is the fact that they made some stuff up and they lied about stuff, which I just don't like that. But that being said, it's still a good movie. I think I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. But if you saw the movie, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great night, and I will see you here again next week.